Hello everyone, it's time to play Star Control 3, the logical progression from Star Control 2, I must say. So without further ado, let's move on to the intro cutscene. Sorry if everything, like the audio and seems a bit jerky. Using DOSBox to record it, and it had a few weird bits. I'm not sure if that's to do... It seems to be fine for the video from what I've seen, but didn't get to watch all of it, so not entirely sure. But this is the opening cutscene. Oh, I'll be silent, but this thing is a bit weird on Star Control 2 canon, as I'm sure I've mentioned in the thread. So, I can't listen to this time, unfortunately. I need like a pair of headphones or something.
A vast armada of the galaxy's great sentient races
well, not too much of a loss.
Against an unknown enemy, as reality itself
long story short, this cutscene is basically an excuse to move on to Star Control 3.
As you watch the sentient races die,
because apparently, the rainbow worlds in Star Control 2, that was supposed to point to something, that pointed to the Galactic Core. That's kind of sets this whole thing up. That was supposed to be like a plot hook to this game, but so they did follow it up. That's pretty nice.
Victory as reality continued to deteriorate. Suddenly,
hyperspace
travel stopped working. The only form of interstellar travel left was your newly built precursor vessel. You hastily formed a union between your old allies and the defeated hierarchy. Explorer groups warped toward the galactic core in search of a cure for a dying galaxy.
So, yeah. This is the opening type of thing. It's a bit weird. It's done with a mouse. But right now I gotta go to Helios. The human colony there. The commander. Doesn't get a name.
Boy, are we glad to see you.
Commander will
Any
explain
getting
the
here?
plot bits not covered by the
We were starting to get a little worried.
opening
After all,
cutscene
we're stuck here
thing.
on an unfamiliar planet in an
But,
unknown quadrant,
yeah,
and can't even
Star
fly out of
Control
this
3.
system without you.
It's mouse-driven,
You are
as
our
mentioned before.
best
The UI
and only hope of survival,
is odd.
and not just
the
our
color scheme is
survival,
bland.
but also the survival of all the starfaring races.
And
Especially
all the
now that
aliens are made
hyperspace travel
by
no longer
puppets.
works, and your
Does
precursor
that make
vessel is
sense?
the
They're
only
like
ship
designer
capable of
puppets,
interstellar flight.
designed by puppets.
But don't
know
let
I'm
that
going
push
with
you.
this.
We have faith in
They're
your leadership.
puppets, as opposed to drawings and like pixel art.
The first
before.
thing we need to do is
Now
find the other League
the
races.
humans, they've
been scattered all over the
have
nearby
one of the
systems
best- they're
by
one
your
of the better
precursor
puppets. I
vessel's
think
warp bubble transport.
all the races from Star Control 2, which includes some of the
How can we help?
hierarchy vessels, because
The Earthling cruiser
Star
was
Control
built
3.
primarily for
The
exploration,
human
and not
puppet's
as a
probably the
pitiless
best
weapon
one,
of war.
despite the
But we
fact
hold
that
up
it seems
pretty
to
well
have
in
no mouth.
combat. We're not
But,
the fastest, but we are
I can't think.
maneuverable.
I'm trying to think of
We
what
have a
other
short-range point defense laser.
races
but
from
that's
Star
best
Control
for
2 looked
incoming
really
attackers.
nice, but whatever.
The main weapon is a long-range homing missile. The best
Did you just say
tactic is to
that,
keep the
no,
enemy at
I
bay
missed
and
that
pound them
part.
with nukes from a distance.
Mission. This is kind of
Our
explains the
main
whole
mission
plot of this
is to
game.
restore the structural
Long
integrity
story
of the
short, there's a
space-time
plot device
continuum
happened,
and
and now we're
restore
in a new
galactic
system with new
hyperspace travel.
aliens.
When
with some of
hyperspace
the old
travel
people.
stopped working throughout the galaxy, we were afraid that sentient beings
And
would
we've
be
gotta
forever cut
solve
off
more
from one
problems.
another, doomed to never fly to another star.
Just realized we no longer have
Ironically,
that
the
annoying
catastrophe
thing in the top
happened not long after you
left
beat the
corner.
Urquan by destroying their
Thank
ability
God.
to make war.
That's actually
When you
kind of
destroyed the
important because
horrific
the
precursor battleship,
top left
the
corner
Sumatra, we were
actually
safe in
has
the
some
galaxy.
important real estate
But even if
in
you
it
hadn't, the
sometimes,
Urquan
so
would have been crippled in space.
I was originally going to have like a black background, so
Before the
the
loss
text
of
thing would be off the
hyperspace,
screen,
you
but
had
the
returned to the
DOSBox,
precursor planet
the recording
Unzervalt,
software with
where
it
you
is
were born.
much better for this
You were
type of
lucky to
stuff.
have been born there. Earth was
So
suffering
I
under the
have to
tender
record
mercies
the
of the
MD
Urquan at the
stuff
time.
separately.
Your parents didn't know it at
The
the
MD
time.
being like the music,
but
which
being
is
part of
not
a
as
crew
good
that
as
crash landed on
music from
Unzervalt
Star
was the
Control
best
2.
thing they could have done for you.
but it's something to
You
listen
grew
to.
up among abundant
But for some reason it
precursor
doesn't
artifacts and
record
developed
with
an
the rest of
affinity
the video,
for
so I
advanced
have to merge
technology.
the two and then
You built a
talk over it.
precursor ship, and the rest is history.
Whoops.
You kicked Urquan butt all over the
So
quadrant.
essentially I'm
Because you sacrificed your precursor
doing this
vessel
3
to stop
times, so
the
to speak.
Sumatra, you returned
So
to
one of
Unzervalt
the
to
times
try
I
to
don't
build a
watch it at
second
all.
one.
just
You were
let the computer
stranded
do its
there
stuff.
when hyperspace travel collapsed. You were stranded on the primitive world of Unzervalt for a second
Oh
time.
yes,
All the
I'm
Allied
trying to remember
races
Star
were sure
Control
they
2
were
canon,
stranded
but I'm pretty
forever.
sure
We
that
cursed
they did
our
not
own working
crash
ship that
land
did
on
not take us beyond our solar systems.
there was
Then
like
you
a
showed up.
set up
You
thing
had
by the
not only
scientists,
been
and then
able to
once they
build a
realized,
new
they were
precursor
one
vessel,
stomping around.
but you found a
That's
way
to
to
hide
circumvent
or
the
whatever, I
collapse of
forget
hyperspace.
exactly. Did they
Your
run
new
out of
vessel
fuel?
did not rely on
I don't know.
hyperspace. but
Point
used a
being,
hot
it
new
wasn't a
precursor
crash
technology
landing. They
you
had
discovered.
farms and
Warp
stuff
bubble
set up.
transport. Most people had never even seen a precursor.
We had
vessel.
piloted too.
You had piloted
you
too.
jelly.
I'd be
That's what I
lying if I
thought.
said no. Anyway, you rallied the Allied races to work
Repentant
together
members
to seek
of the
the
Urquhart
cause of the
hierarchy,
destruction.
which
You
for some
even
reason
enlisted
includes
the
the
repentant
Urquhart
members of the defeated Urquhart
and the
hierarchy
Vux
into your
and
newly minted League of Sentient
the
Races.
Mycon
You described
and
a
the
strange
Spathi, but the
experience you
Spathi,
had after you destroyed the Sumatra, in
you
which you
could get them
traveled
to do
through a
anything
rift
if
in
you
time and glimpsed
stretching
the
them enough.
future destruction of
Stretching
all
being
sentient life.
having a giant
Candidly,
spaceship.
many sentients thought that your
More
vision was the
firepower
product
at
of
your disposal.
delusions. After all, you were comatose when we finally picked up your escape
mobility.
pod.
Yeah,
But
so
you had the
hyperspace
only
is gone,
means
which
of interstellar transport.
is a good thing, because if you
Sentient
haven't
races
noticed,
would have accepted
the
a lot more eccentricity to get some mobility again.
map is 3D now,
Sure
which
thing.
is really annoying.
You explained to all the races
Yeah,
that the only way to
the 2D
repair the
map-
damage
no,
to the
the
space-time
3D
continuum
maps.
and
They
stop the
can
loss
work
of
good,
sentient life
but
was to uncover the
you need like
secrets of
full
the
rotation
precursors.
and
Since the
zooming in and
mysterious
whatnot,
rainbow worlds point
360
forward,
moving to
and
like get
since
a
many
sense of the
precursor
relative things of the
artifacts seem to
planets.
lie in that
This
direction,
one you can only
we
spin it
came to
one
the
way,
galactic
or
core.
one dimension,
Your
one
precursor
axis,
vessel's warp bubble
which
transport
doesn't really help too much. You kind of get it after a while, I think,
different
but
systems in this region of the
it's
Kasari
rather
Quadrant.
confusing and
Now,
rather
all you
annoying.
have to do is find each race
I'll
and establish
bugger
contact
on
with
with it, I suppose.
We need to pick
But
up
just a
stocks of
heads up.
cryogenically suspended colonists from each League race
Yes,
and establish their
colonization.
colonies
I'll
on Kasari
talk
planets.
about that a bit,
The
though.
colonists are
Got
in
tons of things to
suspended
talk about,
animation,
which is going to suck
ready to
because
be
eventually we're
thawed
going to run
out
out
as
of
we
things to talk
gain the
about.
resources to properly put them to
for
work
now, let's just
colonizing and
enjoy
searching for
the
precursor
lovely
lore.
conversation.
All of us pledge to be loyal to the League
Integrity, fabric,
and to
space.
give our lives if
So,
necessary in order to restore the integrity of the fabric of
that's
space.
it. Right, so now we'll talk about colonization.
Talk to you soon,
Long story
Captain.
short, we'll probably want to... Oh, yes, merging. If you haven't noticed, there's like two fleets. We can like move fleets around. We can have like different fleets and order them to do stuff. The only problem is it's not terribly useful because as far as I know, from what I've heard, the colonies don't get attacked. But that's what we're doing right now, managing our colonies. From what I've heard on the internet, basically best way to set up a colony is to have mines, factory, and refinery. This thing's just going so
ICOM
fast.
online.
ICOM.
Sir,
Talk about.
this
I'll have
display
plenty of time to
represents your
talk about
primary
colonies
interface
because
with the ship-wide
we'll be
interconferencing and
managing
monitoring
them
system,
for a long time,
also
filling
popularly
around.
known as
So my
ICOM.
strategy
This
for
system
them
is available to several
shouldn't be too
autonomous
much.
ship functions for
Shouldn't
the
have too
recording,
much of that.
reporting, and transmission
But
of
we want to set up
important
lots of
League
colonies
strategic
because I'm
and
pretty sure
tactical
we get
information.
lots more people
ICOM
that way.
also represents the central
I'm
repository
not too
for League
certain on
intelligence
that point whether
materials,
it's, you know,
and can be called on to assist you
reproduction
in the
by
planning and execution of League
amount of people in the colony or
operations.
number of colonies, but we'll see.
ICOM offline.
Is basically our hint system for the game. Oh, I'm not gonna get to talk about anything in this video. Oh, the DAC Pack. I love these guys. Long story short, the Spathi is Star Control 3. As far as I know. Which is, well, they're not cowardly as the Spathi, they just are awesome. Not as awesome as the Spathi, but they are pretty froopy dudes. Who want to kill us, and we can't limit them. Yeah, this is the isometric view. Space can... The combat in this game, obviously there's an isometric mode, which I hate because it's hard to judge distances accurately, which is obviously a problem in this, for me. But unfortunately, for some reason, hitting the F5 key doesn't do anything. It used to. I think I was fiddling with the settings of DOSBox for capturing videos, so I think that's what the problem is. Something's happening with it, and I think it's not going to the. Yes, apparently there's precursor artifacts around, and you drop out team on them. Uses up a blender. Not way too much stuff to talk about. Let's just set up some colonies. Colonization. This is a good thing. If you notice, we have a bunch of alien portraits on top. You can kind of see what aliens there are. Basically, you set up colonies and you drop down colonists, so you need colonists, which means you need a source of colonists. And you give them RUs so that they may build stuff, like we're doing right here. And the factories, they build buildings, the mines get ore, the refinery makes RUs for the factory and junk. And that... Wait, how did that get in system if hyperdrive is down? Explain that, Dak Blackpack. You awesome fruity dudes. Look at him! He is the greatest. I could watch him dance all day. I don't know about you fellas, but
warning, 321B, a vowel,
a vowel is the best word ever. Anyways, the ship we're using is pretty much the Vindicator Mark II. I'll talk about it once we actually get time to talk about it. Because things are just going in rapid fire right here. Hopefully I'll be able to turn the isometric view off. Anyways, we're setting up colonies. Colonies, we have the heat map thing, which a long time ago. Basically, that shows the, well, it's a heat map. It shows the temperatures, I'm pretty sure. And, different, suitabilities of the stuff, and different species like different temperatures and whatnot. If you notice, we're founding colonies on planets with resources. There's like a resource thing. If it's 0, they won't be able to mine anything, which is bad. So we want to plop them onto planets with high resources. And we want our colonies set up so we set factories at pretty high, and mines and refinery, and we'll turn the other stuff up once we need it. But for now, colonies are pretty much... Actually, I don't know why we're setting up colonies, because the base colony at Helios, whatchamacallit, it sets up perfectly fine. It'll give us enough fuel, and especially once it really gets going and builds everything. And we want maximum research for that, because precursor artifacts, you have to actually research them. But for some reason, the factory loses people if I have the research thing fully on. And we're going to the Gaussian system next. Definitely not because I know what's in there. And hopefully I'll have more time to speak next time, so good night.